Well, good morning. It's not quite 10 o'clock yet, but if you are there, please do pop on and say hello. It is a glorious day yet again here in my neck of the woods. I hope it is in your area as well. The sun is out, the sky is blue, few little wispy clouds, temperature is great, and that's that. So we're going to start in just a few seconds. As soon as it turns 10 o'clock, we will start. But if you are out there in cyberspace, please say hello to me. I'm going to have a little swig of water. There we are. And I just had a little swig of water. And we're almost at the 10 o'clock hour, and I've got fun things to show you today. It is 10 o'clock. Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, my friends. I hope it's lovely in your neck of the woods, as I said earlier. But let's get started. So first I need to apologize. I did say we were going to do the salt technique. However, this has been a crazy week for me, and it will continue to be crazy until I take off for a little vacation, which I'll tell you next Friday all about. But anyway, so because of that and time constraints, I'm not able to teach you the salt technique. I'm sure you can look it up on YouTube. But anyway, it's a great technique. But we will, I promise, we'll do it next Friday. Okay, so, but what we're going to do today is I'm going to make this really pretty card. Let me bring this in. Oh, and I have another announcement. I'm going to announce it here, and I'm going to remind you at the end. So come January 2024, when especially in colder climates it's bitter and there's snow and ice and sleet, maybe some of you might be thinking about going to a nice warm spot for a week or so, basking in the sun, maybe having a good time. Well, that's my little sneak carrot that I'm dropping right now, because something is about to happen very, very wicked exciting. And I'll have more information next Friday. I'm going to be meeting with a certain friend of mine, and we're going to discuss some certain issues, and maybe it'll be something you're interested in. Okay, all right. Carrying on, here we go. So here is the card of the week. This is the card that I'm going to show you how to make. I absolutely love this. This is actually dies from the Dainty Delight stamp set and bundle. Here it is right here. Dainty Delight. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. By the way, if any of you follow Martin Stone, Martin's Mayhem, he's an incredibly talented demonstrator and artist, a true artist in England. But his name is Martin's Mayhem if you want to join up with him and see what he does. But he just did a beautiful watercolor with this image right here. Good morning, Colleen. Good morning. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining me today. So anyway, Martin is an incredibly talented human being, and he just does beautiful work. So he's somebody you might want to follow. But anyway, he just did something beautifully with this. So this, we're going to use this. I'll show you what we're going to use. We're going to use this die this morning, and to cut, one of those little gnats. I have these stupid little, well, they all have a purpose. I know that. I got it, but it doesn't belong in my house. Anyway, okay, so let me just show you. So this is the card. It's on a basic white cardstock, and I did make an error in my newsletter. Say, hey, Barbara, good morning, Barbara. No, so nice to have you join in this morning. And Barbara McDuffie as well. Thank you so much. Yay, my peeps are with me. I said it was Dainty Flowers. It's actually Dainty Delight. Dainty Flowers was the DSP, but it's Dainty Delight bundle. Okay, so let's just take this aside and bring in the stuff that I need. So here is, of course, my piece of basic white cardstock that I've already cut and scored, and I'm just going to give it a crisp fold here with my bone folder, just like that. Lovely. Barbara, how is it up in your neck of the woods? Is it still snowy cold up there? Barbara lives way up in Maine. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of cardstock, and the measurements on this, if you want to write this down, is actually 2.5 by 4. 2.5 by 4. And the first thing I'm going to do is take my PS pad, because I'm going to use a stamp from the Oceanfront stamp set. This one, the rectangle one. And I'm going to use Highland Heather ink, and I'm going to ink it up. But then I'm going to stamp off on my grid paper, and then I'm going to come in and stamp on my paper like this, just like this. Here we go. Perfect. That's exactly the color that I wanted. So I shall move that aside for the moment and move my ink aside. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I took 3 pieces of Granny Apple Green cardstock and I just cut them. I free cut them. Just cut them to make them look like stems. And the next thing I'm going to do is take my fine tip glue, and with my fine tip glue, I'm going to get this little piece of glue snot off, if that's an appropriate thing to say. And I'm going to add some glue to this, just like this, just down the center. Then, very carefully, I'm going to come in and place it wherever I want it. There's one. Now I'm going to take a second one, and we're going to do the same thing, just a little bit of fine tip glue down the center. I like the fine tip glue because it's got a fine tip as an applicator. It works really well, and I only need a tiny little bit. And so that's why it's a fine tip applicator. And then I'm going to take this little piece. 50 degrees at 8 a.m. The snow in the yard has begun melting rapidly from the, oh, good. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, we don't have any snow down here. Hey, Terry from Maine. Thank you for popping on this morning, girlfriend. I got people in Maine. I've got both Barbara and Terry are in Maine, but Barbara is way up, almost to the border, right, Barbara? And here's the third piece, going just like that. Yeah, maybe one of these days I'll have to do a trip. That would be kind of fun. I'd like to see you, Barbara. Barbara and I were in school together. All right, now I'm going to take, this is actually designer paper. This was the Hydrangea series designer paper. And I thought it was absolutely a beautiful, beautiful combination to use. And it definitely makes it look like hydrangeas when you use that die to cut these out. So again, I'm going to take these and I'm going to add some fine tip glue. I'm just going to put hither and yon. No rhyme or reason to this, my friends. Now, did you also hear me at the beginning when I came on and said there's something wicked exciting going to happen come January? Okay, so let me just put this down like this. Tap, 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 and I'm going to take another one. You could use 2 or 3. We'll see how 2 looks with this, but just dabbing a little of this glue on. This is a great glue to use. Okay, here we go there. And do you have the little puppy outside? There's a little puppy. I can't see it, but I can hear it. All right, and I'm going to put this one on like this. And just tap that on. Tap, 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 tap. I think 2 is going to work. And now, to preserve the integrity of this lumen, I'm going to make sure I get my stylus right back into my fine tip glue, which works very, very nicely. Thank you very much. Okay, so now I'm just going to move this over to the side for a second. And I'm going to bring in a piece of gorgeous grape cardstock. Now this gorgeous grape cardstock is 2.5 by 5 1/4. And I am going to take my little, here, my adhesive, and I'm going to put some adhesive on this, on all 4 corners. Now remember, when you have an embossing folder that has, we're about an hour drive to the border to get into New Brunswick. Wow, crazy, huh? And my friend is coming down the stairs now. I call her Mrs. Darcy because her name is Kathy Darcy. But she's really from Pride and Prejudice. Anyway, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this. I've got plenty of adhesive on it, and I actually put a little bit, you know what, let me put a little bit more right in the center, right here, like this. Okay, and now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it on, I'm going to orient it to the left side of my card, like that. Isn't that a gorgeous color? Speaking of gorgeous colors, guess what came in my mail yesterday? UPS brought all the new Stampin' Up! Colors. Oh my gosh, wait till you see. We'll probably do something with that next week. It's very exciting. Okay, so this is on. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Look at how beautiful that that design is. You can see Mount Katahdin. Wow, that's amazing, Barbara. Okay, so that's done. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, which is very nicely drying. I'm going to add some adhesive to this. Talk about an easy card. I totally love this template. We have done many cards with this in the past, and I totally love it. Just taking a piece of cardstock and you're overlaying it a tiny little bit like this. There we go. That's done. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a oval, and I'm going to use this as a thank you. You know I need tons of thank yous. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp here like this, just like that. Perfect. Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape because this is a little bit darker. That was Highland Heather, but I'm going to just turn this over and I'm going to ink this up with the darker of the two colors. There we go. Oh, that's much better. I'm a happy camper with that. Okay, so there's this. Now I'm going to take my adhesive and put it on the back. And then I already cut out another piece of the oval with the scalloped edges. So that's going to go on like this. Then I'm going to take some dimensionals. I'm going to take this, and you know how I use up dimensionals. I tell you about, I have a friend who doesn't like to use the edges. I use the edges because why wouldn't you use the edges? In my opinion, that's a good resource. But I have a friend who doesn't like to do that, and I'm the recipient of all her edge pieces, which is very nice. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to take this off like this, and this, and then I'm going to place it on my card. Probably, let's see, I think I'm going to put it like right here, and I'm going to bring it so that it does touch almost the edge of, whoops, wait a minute, let me move this. Get back here. It's alive, it's alive. All right, like that. And then I'm going to take one of these iridescent pearls. I love these. This matches the paper beautifully. And I'm just going to use my, oops, it came off on my finger. Well, let me just put that on like that. There we go. Press that down. Then I'm going to take some twine, and I've already made a little bow. I'm going to cut the ends of this just a little bit to make it just a little bit. Let's see. Pop that off and pop this off and pop that off. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put some glue dots. What did I do? Oh, here it is. I'm going to take my pick-me-up tool and I'm going to put some glue dots right on my stems. I think I'm going to put 3. So let me just take this off. I love my pick-me-up tool because it's such a great, useful little device that works beautifully because it just does. And when you have great tools, it makes the project so much more fun, I think. All right, so there's that. And then I'm going to take my bow, and I'm going to place my bow. Thank you so much. Isn't that pretty? I agree. And I'm just going to press it so that I make sure that that twine sets right on those glue dots perfectly well, like that. Okay, so there's the front of the card. What do you think? Oh, wait, obviously we have to use some Winky. I have to put some Winky on. I'm just going to put Winky on the flower, right, Kat, Mrs. Darcy?
Yes.
Have to have Winky on here. I'm just going to do the flower tips. It just gives a little bit of contrast and a little bit of interest. Okay, now for the inside, what I'm going to do is I'm taking this stamp, which is from this set right here. This is this one. And I'm going to ink this up with the Highland Heather, the lighter color. And I'm going to, good morning, Jean and Joe. I'm sure Joe is there too. I'm going to ink this up and I'm going to put it right here like that. Actually, I'm going to do maybe one more. There. And then I'm going to take my envelope, because you can't have naked envelopes. You know how I feel about naked envelopes. There we go. And with that, my friends, I have finished this card. Allow me to bring it back in so you can see. There we go. Here is the envelope. Here is the card. Here is the inside. And there you go. Isn't that pretty? Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kathy. Let's see if I can scroll up and see. Thank you so much. What is the exciting news for January? I'm glad you asked, Terry. Well, I can't tell you exactly, but I'm going to repeat what I said at the beginning. Let me just bring myself over here. So in January, when it's really bitterly cold and icy and snowy, a lot of us tend to think about warmer climates, relaxing on something sandy, maybe a beach. So that's just a little carrot I'm going to drop today. But next Friday, I'm going to have information. So save January 21st, the week of January 21st for 7 days, because we might just have to sail away into the sunset. Oh my God, I'm wicked excited. I hope you are too. All right, my friends, that is it for today. I promise next week we will do the salt card. As I said, it's just a time constraint issue this morning. I've got a lot to do, and I'll explain about what's going on in my life next Friday. But anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Good morning, Jeannie Budnick from New Hampshire. All righty, yay. Thank you so much. So Jean and Joe and Jeannie Budnick, all from New Hampshire, and Terry and Barbara from Maine, and my peeps from Massachusetts. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great, great weekend. I love you all. Thank you for your support. Namaste.